is not far away now, just 2 more sleeps to go until HKIR Day at Sha Tin coming up this Sunday. Welcome to the Countdown Show. Graham Cunningham joins us as always, and Graham, we're running out of countdown shows.
We are running out of countdown shows, but we are not running out of news. I'll try and give you the latest update. It's coming in all the time. Soon after we went off air last night, news emerged about Christophe Soumillon, abnormalities in a COVID test. He's off his 10 rides for the weekend. The good news for Vincent Howe, he's cleared to ride. There is a case in his building, but as you know, Vincent's been in the racing bubble and tested constantly. He'll be in isolation until Sunday, but he's clear for the biggest day of his career. He's got Classic Legend, and he's got, of course, Golden 60, and plenty of other good chances on the card. And last but not least, Zach Purton is $40,000 lighter in the pocket. He was a little trigger happy on the Twitter machine last night on the subject of whether a Hong Kong jockey had tested positive. It didn't go down too well with the stewards. $40,000 fine for Zach. He could do with Exultant winning this weekend.
He could, and he's picked up the rod on Normcore as well, so he might be able to get some of it back there, and Vincent Ho goes on to Ho Ho Khan. That's the news on the jockeys. Our man out at Sha Tin all week has been Edward Sadler, and he was there again this morning.
Graham and Mark, thank you both. Always a pleasure to be part of the Countdown Show in some way. From my point of view this morning, of course, the big talking point, as it has been through the whole week, the Ballydoyle trio of Magical, Mogul and Order of Australia. They're such high-class gallopers and come from the most famous, arguably the most famous racing stable in the world, of course, trained by Aidan O'Brien. They all did a piece of work together, the three of them, on the all-weather track. And after that, I caught up with the man who's overseen this preparation here in Hong Kong, Pat Keating.
Yeah, all the main work is done. Our job is just to keep them ticking over, keep them well, keep them fresh.
Let's talk about the horses individually then. Mogul, he's trying to win the Vase as a 3-year-old. You've done that before, you and the team, with Highland Reel a few years ago. Could you draw on any comparisons, or are they similar types of horses in any way?
Their attitude is the same. They're very easy going. They're very straightforward. Otherwise than that, look, they're different horses, but their attitudes are the same. And he's going very well. We're very happy with him.
Magical, what a marvellous mare she's been for the stable, Pat.
Sure, look, she's unbelievable. It's not often you get many like her. She's a great constitution. She just keeps turning up every day, and she's an absolute joy to be around.
Order of Australia, did that win in America surprise you? Or the team always thought that he would be a good miler?
No, he always had. It wasn't that big a surprise at all. He's always shown plenty at home. It's just everything went right for him on the day, and he got to show what he can do.
And just one final question then for you, Pat, before we let you get back to your work. 2020, we know it's been such a unique year. We're talking to each other through masks and in remote locations. For you, travelling with these horses, what's it been like for you?
Look, it is different. At least we're racing. And we're talking here, we might have masks and that, but at least we're racing. There's a lot of people in the world an awful lot worse off than we are. And we're just lucky enough that in our sport we can keep going. We do everything we can to make sure our sport keeps going, and any more than that we can't do. But look, it's been a trial for everybody, but I think people have a lot more trials than we have. So, we're lucky.
Sticking with the Irish theme for a moment then, and on the turf we also saw Roman Eyes from Ken Condon's stable just do a light bit of exercise on the turf to get familiar with the grass here at Sha Tin. It wasn't a strenuous bit of work for the Irish Group 1 performer. And speaking of familiarisation, that was also the theme for the Japanese horses, who also did some paddock schooling to just familiarise themselves with the Sha Tin surroundings, not only the racecourse, but also the massive parade ring that we have here. But gentlemen, let's stick with the Ballydoyle theme. Order of Australia, a surprise winner of the Breeders' Cup Mile, a surprise to us, not a surprise to the Ballydoyle team. Mogul, a high-class 3-year-old who's trying to beat Hong Kong's reigning horse of the year in Exultant, and Magical trying to create history in winning an 8th Group 1 race. What do we make of their chances for Sunday's big races?
Thank you, Edward. Graham, let's start with Order of Australia. Can he surprise like he did in the US?
On the fence, but what I will say, first of all, is that Pat Keating interview with Edward, that tells you why Aidan O'Brien trusts him to travel and look after top quality horses all around the world. It's a serious business, we all know it is, but some people in racing have been guilty of remaining in a bubble all their lives. That was an interview that tells you that Pat Keating realizes there are bigger things going on in the wider world. Really eloquent speech from him and Aidan's team. The work riders there, Emmett McNamara won the Derby this year on Serpentine. Dean Gallagher was a top quality jump jockey back in the day, and Patrick Murphy is one of the Ballydoyle mainstays. Aidan sums them up very neatly. He says, they're serious fellas. So he's got a top team here. He's got really good horses. Order of Australia just blossomed. He hit a completely new level in the Breeders' Cup Mile. A massive price, no fluke about it. Horses he beat were Circus Maximus and Lope Fernandez, stablemates. Ballydoyle know how good they are. Yep. So if Order of Australia is better than those two, he belongs in this race against Golden 60 and company at the weekend. I can't put him on top, but he suddenly hit a new level last time, and I don't think it was a fluke.
It was left-handed. His record right-handed isn't great. It was a set weights and penalties race. He won right-handed too.
But all those races were a mile and a quarter, mile and a half on softish ground. He now has a mile on quick ground, and he looked a different horse in Keeneland. So he adds a huge amount. No Breeders' Cup Mile winner has ever even come to Hong Kong, to my knowledge, let alone won the race. So he's bidding to complete a unique double.
The first of the O'Brien runners we'll see on Sunday is Mogul in the Vase. We spoke about him on Wednesday. Couple of sleeps, couple of times we've seen him in the morning. What have you made of him?
Well, physically, he's a powerhouse. He's a gorgeous-looking horse. And he's got several performances that make him a good horse. One that makes him a very good one. The one that made him a very good one was in the Grand Prix de Paris at Longchamp when he got a really strong gallop to run at. That is key for this weekend. I don't think he's going to get the strong gallop in the early stages, but his key rival is Exultant, and we know that he generally breaks for home a good way out. So it sets up for a really, really attractive tactical cat and mouse between Zach Purton and Ryan Moore on Mogul. And may the best horse win. I think it could be close. I don't want to go strong in either direction here because I think those two horses are very closely matched.
Is it a match race?
I think it is, yeah. I think Columbus County is interesting because he is improving. He was very impressive at Happy Valley for Joe Moreira 2 starts ago. And although he was behind Exultant last time in the Jockey Club Cup, getting weight, he ran a really nice race. And he is low mileage compared to some. I think he'll produce a career best this weekend. It might not be enough to trouble the big two, but he'll run really well.
What more can we say? The Belle of Ballydoyle, the mare, magical.
Yeah, that's a really good phrase, the Belle of Ballydoyle. I've used another one, an old Beatles record, the Magical Mystery Tour. She's been just about everywhere. Yep. This might be the final leg of the Magical Mystery Tour, and if she caps her career with a win here like Highland Reel did, she'll become the first ever Ballydoyle horse to win 8 Group 1s. And the members of the 7 Club are tremendous horses, minding Rock of Gibraltar and Yates. So she's already in select company. She'll be an exclusive company if she wins. And how can you put anyone off her? She's so consistent, she's so good, and she's so uncomplicated that if she gets in a scrap, she's very hard to beat.
And to add to it, listening to Pat Keating, she sounds just like a darling as well.
Yeah, and she looked really perky coming off the track. So all the signs suggest that she can produce a peak performance. If that's the case, she goes very, very close under Ryan Moore.
They are the 3 runners from the O'Brien stable. Well, Ed Sadler wasn't the only keen onlooker at this morning's track work at Sha Tin. CEO of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, Winfred Engelbert Bresges, was on hand also. After track work, he addressed the media.
I think it's definitely a unique year, 2020. Very important to stage an event like the Hong Kong IR. It's not only for the Jockey Club, it's for the city, and it's even for global racing, because this is one of the key anchor points of people who prepare horses, and therefore we went into a very clear risk assessment exercise, and that we are standing here now and look at a fantastic field, look at a really, in a way, very competitive race, which is globally, in a way, recognized as one of the major turf events in the world. And if you see the support we have, I think it's very gratifying for the team. But we have to wait till Sunday. Then, in a way, hopefully we can celebrate a little bit with social distancing. But it's for me, I'm more than delighted, and I can only see the team did a terrific work as a team to bring it to the stage where we are now. What I like with Golden 60 is the ability to quicken. There are very few horses who can run these extremely fast sectional times, and that is what I think. I'm optimistic that he runs well, but he has to prove himself now on the international stage. I think he looks extremely well, but he has to be, because I think there's a very, very strong opposition. You look at a horse like Romanized, who obviously looked very well, but our Japanese friend, especially at Myanmar's, I think is in great shape. In general, the Japanese horses look fantastic, and normally they peak in a way here in Hong Kong. Win Bright has obviously had an amazing record, but I think it is, if you look at the Cup, I still think that Magical will be the horse to beat. So I'm really delighted what I've seen this morning. I think for us, I think it's extremely important to have the endorsement of what I would say is the most global stable in the world. He is an absolute perfectionist, and sending these top-class horses here, I think it's a huge endorsement for this meeting. We had Highland Reel, who, in a way, crowned his career here. And with Magical, if he would win the AIDS Group 1 race, it would be a record. So that would be perfect. But it's a very, very competitive race.
Well, there's no doubt that the presence of the O'Brien team is just going to add to the HKIR, as they do every year. This year, a very different one. Aidan himself can't be with us on course on Sunday, but with the wonders of technology that is Zoom, he's standing by right now, the master of Ballydoyle with Graham Cunningham.
Talk about the horses one by one. I've seen Mogul a couple of times this week, and he's a gorgeous looking horse. How do you see his chances this weekend?
Yeah, big powerful horse. He's kind of made like a big miler, like you said. We were delighted with him in Longshaman. We were happy with him in America as well. America was just a messy race, and he was just we decided to take our time on him. You take your time a little bit like that, if you're back, it can be very difficult. But we're very happy with him. We think that he loved the ground, and he should love the track, and I'm hoping that he runs a good race.
Good luck with him. Order of Australia is such an unusual one. I don't think a Breeders' Cup Mile winner has ever come on to Hong Kong, so he could make history there. Are we looking at a horse here? It's effectively just a new page with him now. He's back at a mile.
And we always thought if we got into America that Hong Kong would really suit him, a mile and flat track, good ground. Looking forward to seeing him run again.
Talk about an international profile, this race. Golden 60 is a big star here in Hong Kong. Admire Mars from Japan, last year's winner. Beauty Generation has won this race twice. It has the feel of a really, really strong race this year.
Yeah, no, but that's good, yeah. And like always, the stronger the races are, the better it always is for everybody, really. And I think everybody we get a good guide on milers all over the world, but I think it's good when it's strong and it's competitive, and that's what it's all about, really.
Everybody but does it differently. From afar, it seems that your horses do most of their really serious stuff before they come away. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we'd always try. We'd always try to have them fit before they go, and then kind of maintenance canters after that. That's what we like. Obviously, it would be new surroundings for them, and we know that the ground will be safe and all that. But we're always just happy just to tip them over when they go away, really.
Let's move on to Magical. Fantastic filly. How easy or difficult is it for you to judge whether she can still peak again after such a busy autumn?
She seems very well. Graham, Jamie, who's in charge of her, and Patrick writes her every day, and Seamus writes her in his work. They're all very happy with her. And physically, she's great. Every autumn so far, her form has really stood up and stood strong. Every year gone by, so she seems very well. We've been very happy, even with her last two runs. Just America was just a very messy race and didn't suit her, and then the same in Ascot, in very heavy ground. She's a filly likes a nice high strong tempo, and when she does, she usually clicks into gear maybe 2 or 3 down. If the pace is steady and slow, she doesn't click into gear until the race is nearly over. So strong tempo will suit her, but she seems very well trained.
A Sunday morning, you can watch at home with the family, maybe high pressure situation. But are you a nervous spectator or a calm one, or are you someone who gets up and gives them a cheer if it's tight?
No, I'm very calm. Obviously, there are always situations that we can't do anything about, and I suppose the calmer you are, the more you can assess the thing as it's happening. And listen, if they win, we're over the moon, but we don't ever believe or think that they're going to win until they've gone past that line, So, listen, we stay relaxed and try to keep as level as we can, Graham, really.
Aidan O'Brien. Graham, before we touch on Aidan's record in Hong Kong, he's mentioned that HKJC have got things down to a fine art. Let's flip it around. Has he got travelling horses around the world down to a fine art, as good as anybody?
I think he probably has, but there's a reason these races are hard to win. You come up against formidable opposition. So Aidan's strike rating in Hong Kong is take out Highland Reel, and I think it's 0 from 19. He's 2 from 21 overall, but statistics can mask a lot of things. Magic Wand would have won the Hong Kong Cup 12 months ago with a really smooth run, and we wouldn't be worrying about stats had that happened. But he has had a few really good ones beaten, the likes of Dylan Thomas, Scorpion, Brian Baru, Anthony Van Dyke a couple of years ago. So they don't always fire, but it's difficult to fire your best shot halfway across the world. What we can say, he's got 3 high-quality Group 1 horses this year, and the event is all the better if they deliver on the day. On the track, they look great. We'll find out on Sunday whether a season has caught up with them or they're still blossoming. If they're anything like Highland Reel, they'll get to Sha Tin and they'll really deliver.
We'll find out on Sunday. Mogul, the first of the 3 to run in the Vase. We need to move away from the Ballydoyle team, otherwise we'll be accused of being Eurocentric, I guess.
With Brexit around, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, you've been flying the flag for a Japanese horse all week. Are you still strong on Denon Premium?
I am. He is a high-quality horse, and he's attracted a stalker this week. And Denon Premium's the horse, and I'm the stalker. I've followed him around. I really like his chances. And a colleague of ours, Joe Howard, put together a really nice piece about how a few Japanese horses had a busy day at the track, from the all-weather canter and exercise to the paddock school to the gate practice. It's been an interesting day for a few Japanese stars.
Well, Graham, you mentioned at the top of the show that Christophe Soumillon not riding on Sunday at Sha Tin. What a pinch hitter. Ryan Moore to jump on the Japanese star.
Yeah, talk about a super sub. And it's not just that Ryan steps in on Admire Mars. He steps in on Admire Mars against his boss's horse, Order of Australia, add in Golden 60, and this is a spellbinding contest, especially with the Vincent angle. So all the elements are in place for a tremendous race. We haven't even mentioned Beauty Generation, but no, that's a really good booking to get Ryan Moore off the bench. Admire Mars looked slightly sweaty this morning, but he behaved himself perfectly well down at the gate. I have to think he's a major chance. I think he's at least as good as he was 12 months ago, so that puts him firmly in the reckoning. Denon Premium is a horse who's slightly under the radar compared to some, but I'm sure he's ready to run a great race for William Buick. Tremendous prospect, and the Japanese record at getting horses to peak. And that's an interesting angle this weekend. Do you want to go with the horses who've already shown a really top level of form and say they're going to reproduce it? Or do you look for the type of horse who might be sitting on an absolute career best? I think Denon Premium falls into that category.
Saw the track work this morning and Admire Mars getting a little warm. It was a humider morning in Hong Kong than what we've had for a little while too.
It was. I was feeling it when I walked down to the 1,000 metre start and back. But no, the horses will recover very quickly. We're nearly there, Mark, now. It's a tremendous weekend in prospect. Lots of jockey shuffles and in and out and replacement. The horses seem to be taking things perfectly calmly. So the stage is gradually being set for Hong Kong's biggest day. I can't wait.
And the Japanese horses having some barrier practice this morning. They use different gates in Japan than what we have here. Yeah. So they've been well schooled all week too.
That's right. And they don't jump out and run for 100 metres or whatever. They're just taken in very steadily, given some TLC while they're in there, familiarise themselves with the different gates, then they're reversed out. So both those horses, I think from memory, did it 3 times each. So nothing is being left to chance. Their preparations are almost done.
Well, countdown show number 1 tomorrow. We'll join you then.
Yeah, 1 to go. Some more special guests to be confirmed.
So there we have it. It's the second last HKIR Countdown show. Join us again tomorrow where we'll have the last one more sleep to lead into the massive day. The Turf World Championships, 2 sleeps away. Shard 10 Sunday. Bye-bye.